I built my dropshipping company YogaStay completely from scratch to multiple 7 figures in sales. And in this video, I'm going to be breaking down exactly how I did that and giving you my 365-point dropshipping checklist. Then I'm going to walk through that guide with you step by step, building a brand new dropshipping business completely from scratch so that by the end of this video, you're going to have everything you need to start a profitable dropshipping business in 2023. This training is pretty dense, so if you're looking for get rich quick, then this honestly isn't for you. However, if you are committed to this, then I can promise you that this will be well worth your time, since these are the exact strategies that have generated me over $25 million in sales, which still feels pretty crazy to say because it was not too long ago that I was graduating from college with a 2.88, took a crappy 9-to-5 that I hated, and then I decided to start my own business and got completely lost in all the BS that's out there. I mean, the number of videos that tell you that they're going to teach you how to start a dropshipping business and then tell you surface level stuff at best is mind-boggling to me. I've literally dedicated the past 5 years of my life to doing nothing but e-commerce and specifically dropshipping. That's why I'm making trainings like these, to give people the resources that I wish I had getting started, and so that all the pain and trial and error that I went through wasn't in vain. So let's get started and go to freedropshippingcourse.com or click the link in the description below and you can download your free guide, pause this video, and then come back once you've downloaded it and we'll get started. So number one, we're going to cover how to choose a profitable niche that has a large base of really passionate buyers that you can build your brand in. Second, we're going to talk about how to create a memorable brand name and logo and why that's important. And third, we're going to go through researching that niche and how to come up with the best practices so that we know the products that we're putting out there we're going to sell. Fourth, we're going to be covering how to create viral designs and products, taking the best practices and then what that looks like in the design creation process, all the possible options out there. Then fifth, we're going to be setting up our fulfillment provider, literally step by step, click by click, doing everything together. And six, we're going to be setting up your Etsy seller account. And then seven, we're going to be setting up and optimizing your Shopify store. And all of this is following the exact framework that I used for building YogaStay so that you can build the kind of foundation that I had and scale it up to a business that at the time of selling it did over $3.2 million in sales. It's a rinse and repeat process that has worked across any number of niches. Dropshipping at a very basic level, if you don't already know this, is just when you connect your website to a dropship supplier, and when your customer places an order through your online site, your supplier ships the order to your customer. It's pretty simple. A lot of sellers will use sites like Alibaba, CJ Dropshipping, Zendrop, Oberlo. The cons of typical dropshipping models is that number one, there's no customization of the products, and there's like Chinese writing on the packages. It's like literally just the cheapest products possible, coming right from the manufacturer. A lot of them are in China. So because of that, there's long shipping times. You have no control over the product quality. It's just like not a very good customer experience. But most importantly, it's very, very difficult to build a brand. And that's how you build actual wealth and not just like sales ones and twos here and there. It's by getting a brand to the point where customers want to come back and buy from you again and again and again. The most expensive cost in these businesses, aside from the product, is the advertising. Customers you don't have to advertise for are the ones that you've already sold to. And if they have a great experience, they're going to come back and buy again and again, and they're going to tell their friends and family. And that's how you build an actual brand that business buyers will be interested in. That brings us to what is print on demand, otherwise known as POD. Print on demand is similar to dropshipping in that there's no inventory up front, very little investment you have to make. The customer comes to your site, places an order, the order automatically gets routed to your print provider, which we're going to set up today. They print the order, pack it, ship it, and it goes on its way to the customer. And the products that we're able to sell, we're able to customize all of them to our own designs, so that we're actually selling unique products that are high quality at a good shipping speed rather than just crap that you can get off of Alibaba. The reason that print on demand is the absolute perfect business to start in 2023 is because of the fast shipping speeds. High quality products equals a high returning customer rate, which that's how you can get your $1 in ad spend to equal $5, $10 in the long run rather than 2 or 3. And there's zero inventory, so there's no upfront investment. You have the ability to customize the products and the packaging so that it actually says your brand name on the package that shows up at their door rather than, the Chinese supplier. It's extremely fast setup, and it allows us to quickly test a lot of different products and niches at zero cost to ourselves. Most importantly, there's a seamless product catalog expansion, meaning that once you've found a niche that is working well, you're able to expand and become like a legitimate looking brand very very, very quickly. And most importantly, people love these types of products. You can see the stats here, but fast fashion or graphic t-shirt market is booming, and it's only going to continue to grow. Just look around next time you go out on the street. You'll see people are wearing graphic shirts all over the place. And graphic t-shirts, again, is just the tip of the iceberg. Now, without further ado, let's get into the training. Pulling up our spreadsheet. If you haven't already done this, go ahead and make a copy of it. This is a read-only file, but we're going to be going through this step-by-step together. So make sure to go to freedropshippingcourse.com and download it. You just enter your email and I'll send it over to you. This is going to be our guide through this entire process. And this has literally every single step that you need, going through the niche, the branding, the research, the designs, to setting up Printify, Etsy, Shopify, and then resources here at the end for you to reference later on. And then as we're going through and checking off the steps, this main page is going to update so that track your progress and you can jump right back in with where you were. And also, if you're really serious about doing this and like actually starting a dropshipping business, I highly recommend taking the time to like focus on this and really give yourself a chance to make this work for you. So that looks like putting your phone on airplane mode, or even better yet, turning it off, putting it out of the room, clean off your desk, and be able to like really focus on this, because there are a lot of steps, but luckily they're all laid out for you, but it just requires time and focus in order to get through it and to make it, you know, the best output possible for you. I want to get the highest return for your time here, so that's the best way to do that. All right, so first off, we're going to start with choosing a highly profitable print-on-demand niche. And we're going to move through this pretty quickly, so feel free to pause and go back and rewatch things however you see fit, because it is a lot of material. Starting off with your niche, what I want you to do is write down a list of 5 to 10 interests or hobbies that you have. These things can be anything from like your passions, like reading, or just products you like coffee, exercising, vacations, like anything you can think of that fits the category of a niche. So I'm just going to write down some of my own, and you can expand it on the left-hand side here. But I like hockey, I like yoga, I like working or business, I guess. And I don't know, I can't really think of any others, but 5 to 10. So I got 7 here. So that's pretty good. So I'm going to check that off. And then what we're going to do is run each of these through what's called the bumper sticker test. And this is how we validate if this is going to be a profitable niche for us or not. And the bumper sticker test is basically just look at your list and think to myself, have I ever seen any of these interests or hobbies on a bumper sticker on the back of somebody's car? Because if you have, then chances are that if somebody put it on bumper sticker, they would wear it on a shirt too. So think hockey. I haven't really seen that one before on a bumper sticker aside from like moms. Yoga, I've definitely seen that before. Vacations, I see a ton of those. Travel, these two are kind of the same now that I think about it. Coffee, maybe. Business, not really. Dogs, coffee. I'm going to combine these two. Travel, vacation, travel, coffee, dog. Dog. Okay, so I'm going to do yoga, vacation, and travel, because I've definitely seen each of these on a bumper sticker. And we're trying to narrow it down to 2 to 3. So go with the ones that you're most certain about if you have more than that. And a good niche equals unique, but with a broad audience. So a bad niche would be like hot yoga. That's too niche, it's too specific. But a good one, it would be yoga. It's broad enough. Now we're going to go to Google, and we're going to search for the niche and market size. Okay, so you can either look at it in terms of people or billions of dollars, and yoga definitely meets that. And I'm just going to repeat that process for each one of these. So 106 billion. So yoga definitely meets that criteria. Vacation, travel size, 91 billion. It's massive. And then coffee. Yeah. So, okay. So we have some pretty good options. They're all massive markets. But then if I typed in like drip coffee market size, it's a lot smaller. So I know that I have 3 good size niches here. And now we're going to conduct our market research by going to different sites, and we have them listed out here. But first thing you're going to do is put in the names of each of your niches. So yoga and then coffee. And then we're going to rate each of these by going through these steps, and then put a scale, a ranking scale through 1 through 5 here, and then it's going to spit out the winner here for us. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is go to Amazon.com, and we're going to do this quickly just by opening up. Now, these are sites where graphic t-shirts are sold in extreme quantities, and what we're looking for is validation that people are already selling our products or to our niche on these different sites. And if we see that validation, and we're going to talk about how to grade it, then we know that it's a good niche. But if we're not seeing anything, or if we're seeing like some like too specific things, or it's like brand dominated, like if it's only owned by Nike, for example, then it's not really a good niche for us to go into. So I'm going to go here, and I'm going to start with, which one should I do? I already know yoga is a good one, since I'm just going to cross yoga out because I've already done it. So I'm going to do vacation and travel. So I'm going to go to the site and just following the steps here, going to go to the site and type in the niche and then graphic t-shirt. So vacation graphic. And now what I'm looking for here is I'm looking for at least 5 different people that are selling, these types of shirts. I'm looking for 20 different graphic t-shirts and like 3 different styles or angles. So first, 5 different sellers. So I see 1 person selling there, 2. Hurley, we don't count because that's like a big name brand. And then Fandy, I have no idea what that is, but we're not going to count that because it's not a graphic t-shirt. It kind of is, but it's like an all over print, slightly different than what we're looking for. We're looking for stuff like this. And then Herbology, that doesn't really fit. World Traveler, that's like Disney. Yeah, there's another one. That's another Disney one, but there's a 3rd seller, 4th, and 5. Okay, so we found 5 very easily, and now we're looking for the number of graphic t-shirts. So we've already seen that there's a good number of them, but let's just count them up quick. 1, 2, kind of 3, 4, 5. Okay, so I counted them up, and there were well over 20 in total. So back on our spreadsheet, I'm giving this a 5. And now the last thing I'm looking for are the 3 different angles. So by 3 different angles, I mean, I want to see, are there different types or styles that we can go after so that there's something for everybody on our store. So for example, like this is like monocolor with like a graphic. That's one type. Just a graphic, that's a second type. And then humor is one that I like to add if possible. That would be funny, but that's trademark. And then yeah, so I don't really see more than just the typical 2 styles. Maybe the beach please one could qualify as funny, but it's a 2 out of 3, so I'm gonna give that a 3 there. And now I'm gonna repeat this process across all of these other sites. So I went through all of them for coffee and vacation/travel, and vacation or travel was the winner. And I'm just not doing yoga, like I said, because I've already done that. All in all, I was able to find a lot more validation and proof for vacation and travel than any of the other on any of the other sites for coffee. So that's the one we're going to go with. Just going to go up here and check off all the rest of the boxes. Niche is completely done. So now we are on to the next stage, which is our branding. When it comes to the branding, I want you to keep in mind that it's important, but to a point. And so for the brand name, we don't want to get hung up on this. This is where I see people burn days, weeks, months of their life. I used to do this, but now I realize the name does not matter as much as we think it does. It's mostly our ego getting attached to it and thinking it has to be the perfect name. We're going to tell our friends and family. The reality of it is that when somebody is seeing your ad or seeing your Etsy listing, very few people are making a buying decision based off of their brand name. Like they're not going to see the product, love it, and then be like, oh, that name, I don't know about that. It doesn't matter. And you can go with a .co, you can change the domain later on down the road. Like Yoga Stay originally started out as Namaste Collections. We changed it to shorten it up because we wanted to. And so it doesn't matter. So what I want you to do is set a timer for 5 minutes and really do this for yourself. Set a timer for 5 minutes and make that the limit for choosing your brand name. You can pause the video and go through these steps now, but brand name, 5 minutes max. Okay. All right. So I'm going to do that. I know I can do it in under 5 minutes. I'm not even going to set a timer, but we're going to go to biznamewiz.com. We're going to type in our niche. So, and then I'm going to change the industry to e-commerce. What was the other one I said? fashion. I'm typing in vacation and generate. And BizNameWiz, it just spits out a ton of ideas and we pick what we like the most. Vacation style, vacation threads. I like that. And try to keep it to like a few syllables. Don't try to come up with a brand name that's Nike or something like that. Just make it straight up, clear what it is. And like, that's good enough. So vacation threads, I like that a lot. I think I might shorten it and try like vacay threads. So vacay threads, there, we have our name. Choose one of the generated names. Now we're going to go to namecheck.com. You can just click the link here. Basically tells you if it's already taken or being used by somebody else. And this shows us across all the different social platforms if it's available or not, along with the domains. Pretty much available everywhere except for like Facebook. The Shopify name doesn't matter because we're going to use our own domain for that too. So we're good. And then we're going to go to GoDaddy and check to make sure that it's available. It's actually not available in .com, but it was available in .co, which I already purchased. So a .co, .org, .net, it doesn't really matter. I personally have run a lot of my stores on the .co domain, so feel free to buy that one. And then last thing we want to do real quick is go to trademarkia.com. You want to make sure that nobody else has a registered trademark because that could land you in some legal trouble down the road. Yeah, so I looked and saw that nobody else has vacay threads registered anywhere. There's some on just the word vacay, but there's also none that are registered in our class. So if you see somebody's registered for your exact name, which it has to be the exact name, so it would have to be vacay threads, and then in the class here, it would need to be under class 25, which is our class for apparel. So we're good there. And then you're going to buy your domain on GoDaddy. So what you're going to do is to go to GoDaddy. First step, you're going to go to GoDaddy and search for your domain. Next, you're going to choose one of them, either .com or .co is what I recommend, and then click add to cart. Then as you're checking out, make sure to decrease your domain registration length from 5 years to 1. This is basically just GoDaddy trying to get an extra buck out of you. You only need it for a year. You can go year to year and then cancel it when you want. And then click continue to cart. And then uncheck start your website for free and leave full domain protection on. Then click continue to cart again, and I'm ready to pay and check out. Then check off each of your steps. And then we're going to jump over to a site called Canva to create our logo. Going to create logo, and then they have a ton of templates here that you can choose from, and you just click it and then you enter it like your brand name, and then you can come up with a tagline if you want, weights, something like that. It really doesn't matter, but I recommend choosing a logo that has a icon that's available as a standalone option, so not like just the text or something. So like here's the logo that I came up with, AK threads. Then I'll shrink this down a little bit. There we go. Blow this up, make it a little bigger, duplicate this page, make one more with just the icon. There we go. And then I'm going to export these, download, and I recommend doing transparent background. I think this is a pro feature, but it's really worth it because you'll end up using this a lot. And you want to have it as a clear background so you can use it everywhere you need it. You just hit download, and there's your logo ready to go. And as a bonus, I recommend just creating a new Gmail account to keep things organized as we're creating new accounts and that sort of thing, just so everything's clean and separate from your normal personal life. Part 3 is we're going to look at the market and research what are the best practices of designs that are currently selling. And we want to do this so that when we get to the design creation portion next, we have an idea of what's already selling in the market. And part of the reason that we chose a niche that you are a part of is that you know the market better than anybody because it's one of your hobbies or interests, which is just another layer of stacking the deck in our favor in building a profitable print-on-demand business. The way we're going to do that is by opening up Amazon, Etsy, Pinterest, and Redbubble in different tabs. And we're going to take notes down here below, all the things that you're noticing as we are going through them. And some of the things we want to take notes on are, number one, we're going to look at the top selling designs. I'm going to show you how to do that, but we want to look for the design styles, colors, if they're busy or detailed, what types of text are they using, the placement, and just the general themes. Like, are they funny, peaceful? Are they trying to get a certain message across? All those types of things. And what are the commonalities across all the designs? And then you're going to take those notes and put them down below here. So vacation graphic tees, something I'm noticing is that a lot of them monocolor graphics. Then there's some that are like sun, salt, sand. So I see a lot of beach themes. So I'm going to write that down. A lot of sunglasses. I'm gonna try another search for travel graphic t-shirts. Okay, so mountains. And you can tell if they're really popular by the number of reviews, but make sure that you click on the product and see, is that really just a super popular shirt, or is that, sometimes they'll have like lots of different designs under one listing, but this seems to be an extremely popular one. So I think that's called like Wanderlust. Hiking, some more mountains, adventuring. Okay, then the other thing I'm noticing is that there's a lot of monocolor designs, like just one single color, either white or black. So there's a lot of monocolor, a lot of mountains. Now I'm gonna look at Etsy, vacay mode, family vacation. Yeah, so these are good. Star sellers. I'm gonna click and see what else this person's selling more of. This could be an interesting concept. They sell graphic t-shirts for different vacation areas. So that's a theme that I could pick up on and potentially do a whole collection of designs just around that. Okay, so I see a lot of these sunglasses with like a travel destination in them. Travel mode plus sunglasses, question mark, monocolor. And then I'm noticing the text placement as well. So there are a lot that have, they're not just completely text-based, but they have like a graphic design and then a short 1 to 2 words either above or directly below it. And then something you could do on here is search for best seller. Yeah, popular now, sun, salt, sand. Lastly, I'm gonna check on Redbubble. And then these designs that, even if they're on stickers and stuff, these could be good designs to like put on t-shirts. I'm gonna change up my search terms a couple of times to see if that gives us any better results. We're by top customer reviews. So you see what I'm doing here? I'm just searching through and quickly glancing at some of the top sellers and seeing what do they have in common with the other top sellers. So this one is really popular. Happy summer, y'all. And if you want to go above and beyond, you can even take screenshots and save them on your desktop. That would be a good idea as well. Just for the sake of this video, I'm only going to take a couple of notes, but I highly recommend taking 15-20 minutes to look through the top sellers and take a checklist so that when we get to the next step, you actually know what's selling well. So just some of the themes that we picked up on were beach seems extremely popular, along with mountains. So beach, mountains, there are a lot of monocolor designs with like a very simple icon in the middle. Some niches, you'll notice they are like very text heavy, like family. A lot of times they have, or like family members, dad shirts or mom shirts, or zodiac signs. Those are some that are extremely text-based that take up like the majority of the shirt. But in this niche, what we were finding was quite the opposite. It's simple monocolor designs that just say like vacation, have 1 to 2 words on it. That's about it. Few very text-based designs, but we picked up on some very common themes that when we start creating our designs, we know not to look for the designs that are like very text heavy. We're looking for quite the opposite of that. Once you're done, check off all of these. One other thing is that I personally use this app called Todoist, which I absolutely love. It's a productivity and note-taking app. It's great for as you have ideas for designs, as you're running your business, you'll have ideas that pop in your head randomly. You want to get those design ideas out of your head and onto paper, along with a lot of other stuff in business. Using Todoist, it's been great because it has quick shortcuts both on your phone and your laptop, so that if as you have an idea, hit a hotkey. So I just hit Control Spacebar and then I can type in my idea. Design idea, mountain with a plane flying over it, t-shirt, just like that. And then it's saved, and then it goes to my Todoist, and then whenever I check that, I have a list of all my ideas, and it's just out of my head, and I can rest easy knowing that all my ideas are saved. Quickly review our overview page. So we've gone through our niche, our branding, and our research so far and checked all those off. So congrats for sticking with it this far. And now we're about to get into the good stuff, because next up we are creating our designs. All right, so step 4, we are going to create our designs using everything we just learned from our design research phase. And this is all under our branded name with our logo and our profitable niche. So now it gets exciting. The name of the game for when it comes to creating designs is just volume. Like we don't want to be testing 10 or 20 designs. We want 50, 100, 200. Because it is a numbers game. We want to be launching as many as possible and not getting emotionally attached to our designs. As soon as we get emotionally attached and we're like, this is my design, like I worked so hard on it, it's got to do well. If it doesn't, I'm going to feel bad about myself. That's when we start going down a downward slope. We want to just get as many designs as possible created, and then we'll figure out like what's working, what's not down the road. Take it from me, I've had 1,000 different design ideas. 90% of them have sucked, but the 10% that have worked out to be good makes all the difference in the world. And you only need 10% to end up being good. First off, there are 3 different ways that you can create designs. Now, number 1 is you can hire a designer from Upwork or Fiverr, one of these job posting sites. You can design them yourself in Canva or Photoshop. I personally don't know how to use Photoshop, and I've been able to be successful with this, so don't worry if you don't know how to design in Photoshop. Number 3 is the one that I recommend the most. Upwork and Fiverr, it can be a good option for later on down the road, but the goal for this video is to keep this as low cost as possible. So we're not going to be talking about that too much, but I put links there if you want to check them out. And second option is you can design them yourself in Canva. So we'll talk about that first, but then number 3, buying them is the way that I recommend going. But to create designs in Canva, it's pretty simple, and you hit create design 1080 by 1080. As you can see, if you just type in t-shirt designs, they have a ton of templates that you can choose from, and then you can just copy and paste them onto your Canva designs, and then you can apply the best practices that we learned, and you can customize these based on what we just learned about our designs that sell best in our niche. So like I found one that's like these little travel icons that could be cool. I'll show you how to create one. For example, is like add a page, dreams, and I can just change this word to travel, and then what should I say here? Comes true endlessly. There we go. And I'll try one more. That is a new page. There we go. That's kind of cool. Cool. And there we go. Just to show you a few examples, but like it's very, very easy to create these designs in Canva. And then once you're done with them, you just hit share, download, and save it as a transparent background file. Again, because in order for us to use these, we need it to not have a background. Otherwise, it would show up on the t-shirt as like a giant white block, which we don't want. And then one other thing I'll show you is a site like this, like flaticon.com, has literally thousands, tens of thousands of these little icons, 9.4 million vector images that you can choose from. So like if I type in vacation, see they have tons of these little icons that you can use for any of your designs. You're technically supposed to pay for it if you're going to use it in like a merchandise or reselling type setting, but again, there's unlimited free resources out there for you if you're trying to keep this as low budget as possible. Last thing on the Canva side is, as a bonus, you can create contrasting design versions for different colored shirts, meaning that if you have a design that's primarily lighter text, you can make it darker so that when you go to put it on the shirt, you're able to show it on the full product catalog of colors. This is not required, and if you're just doing this for the first time, I don't recommend doing this. Just get as many designs as possible, and this can be something you add on later on down the road. Now, the way that I really recommend getting your designs is by buying them. With an investment of like $20 to $30, you can literally buy hundreds of really high quality designs that you can start selling like that. And I'm going to show you how to do that right now. So in Google, we're going to do an image search for our niche and the word graphic t-shirts. Now, what's different about this search that we're going to do is under images, we're going to go to tools, then usage rights, and commercial and other licenses. Now, what this has shown us are all the designs on the entire internet that meet our search criteria that are commercially available to us for either free use or for us to buy. These designs are, a lot of them are really pretty good, and you can research this a million different times and come up with literally endless design ideas because there's new ones getting added all the time. There's a ton of options in here. When you search with the word designs at the end, a lot of these sites start popping up that you can buy the designs, and these are made by highly qualified designers and graphic artists that instead of them like building their own t-shirt business or something, they just want to sell their designs. I put in the spreadsheet here, there's a couple of different options, but there's Google Images, Free Pick, designbundles.net, and then over here on the resources tab, there's a ton as well for you to check it out. Let's just look at one of these sites here together. So I searched for travel t-shirt designs on designbundles.net, filter by 4 stars and up rating. And then you'll see in here, there are packs of these designs. Like this one, for example, this is 50 designs that I can buy for $5. As you can see from the pictures, a lot of these designs look pretty good and match the best practices that we were seeing on a lot of the top sellers. Here's another one, adventure and travel, go outside, travel t-shirt design bundle. Like there's so many to choose from. And this is just from looking at designbundles.net. If you go to free pick, it's the same thing. There's lots of bundles for you to choose from. The free pick does have a paid plan, but there's a lot of free options as well. So going through these sites, what I recommend doing is buying or downloading at least 50 of them. That's a good number to start with, and then save them on your desktop to keep them all nice and organized. And then what I recommend doing is creating a free Trello account, making a design board to keep all of your design assets nice and organized. An optional step for you, but I highly recommend doing it. It's going to take you like 15 minutes right now, but it's going to save you hours and hours later on down the road. Especially if you are really serious about this business and plan to scale it up, you're going to need to eventually hire designers, hire a team, and getting organized from the beginning is invaluable. So you just want to create a free Google Drive folder and make one folder for each of your designs. And you're just going to upload each of the designs into their folder and keep them nice and organized. I highly recommend like putting a number before each one, because like even if you have different names for them, it can become convoluted later on down the road. So just number each folder. Then I mapped it all out exactly how to do it on this checklist here. And all that you have to do is create a new Trello board and then add columns at the top called backlog, design ideas, design file ready, upload it to Printify, publish to Shopify, and done. You're going to attach each of the designs to your Trello card. You're going to name it the same thing. So like vacay all day, see in folder, number 3, vacay all day. Then here's the design file, and then it's just attached to this card. Keeps it all nice and organized. It's slightly tedious to set up, but again, it's going to save you dozens, if not hundreds of hours later on down the road. And with that, we've now completed step number 4. By the end of this section, you should have at least 50 designs, the PNG files downloaded to your desktop in a Google Drive folder and attached to your Trello cards, ready to upload into Printify. And that's what we're going to get into right now. Printify setup is pretty straightforward. All that we are doing at a very high level is we're taking our designs and uploading them into Printify and syncing it with the product that we want to be selling. And we're going to walk through how to do that. Everything's here already step-by-step laid out for you. So the first step of this, click here to create a free account with Printify. And once we've synced our products, they're going to look something like this in your dashboard. Each of our designs on the t-shirt ready to sell, and with our mock-ups and everything. And then we can sync this with our Etsy and our Shopify. The way that we're going to do this is go to catalog, t-shirts. The shirt that I recommend using is the Bella Canvas 3001. There's a massive catalog for you to choose from, but this is the one that I found is the best balance between quality and price. And as you can see down here, there are a lot of different sellers or print providers that you can choose from. And I've personally worked with Monster Digital a lot in the past. They always have really good quality and shipping speed. Hit start designing. I'm just going to upload it from my desktop, and the design we're using is vacay all day. So I hit upload and then center it on the shirt, and then I want to make it, this dotted line here shows the print area that we have to choose from. So we want to use most of it, but not quite all of it. Picture like a graphic t-shirt that you've worn in the past. Where would it look good and how, what size? Like it wouldn't be down on your stomach. That'd be kind of awkward. Typically we want it centered on the t-shirt, touching the top like that. Then we can maybe make it slightly bigger, but we want to make sure it doesn't go outside the print area because then it gets cut off. But we want to do something like that. There we go. And I'm just going to check things off as I go. Now we're going to do the colors. So up here in the top right, these are all the colors that we have to choose from. You can see that there's 34. Just keep in mind that Printify has a variant limit. And a variant is the number of colors times the number of sizes, and that limit is 100. So we can choose up to 16 with the number of sizes that we have. So we're choosing the 16 best looking colors, and we want to try to have a contrast. Like we don't want to do just like every gray and every dark color, for example. It's better for us to have one red, heather navy, dark heather. We're choosing all the ones we think it looks good on. And since this is a vacation travel brand, it's kind of more lighthearted. I'm going to choose more of the lighter, like summery colors than, you know, the darker, more winter color. And also the heather colors typically perform really well because they have this nice multi-color look to them. You can see there's nothing on the back, but We can see what each of the colors looks like. Next thing we're going to do, save product, choose our title image. So title image is the primary picture that's going to show up on the product listing. I typically like to use this mock-up. It looks just a lot better to me than a plain white image. And then I choose the color that it looks best on. This color will vary design by design. You don't want to have like the white be the main color for every single shirt. So we're gonna try Heather Navy. Typically looks pretty good. Yeah, that looks nice. So now that's gonna be the main color that shows up for that product in our Shopify store and on our Etsy listings. Okay, now we're gonna do the product title. And we wanna update the product title in Printify to be the same as our Trello card. So the way I do that, just to make sure that I'm keeping it exact, go to Trello and copy paste it. And then we can leave the product description the same as it is for now, because we're gonna be changing that in bulk later on. We also wanna add the word t-shirt or tee. Either one works. Now we're gonna update our pricing. Keep in mind that each supplier will have different prices, and this price lowers when you upgrade to Printify Premium. For this, I typically like to keep 50 to 60% margin. So $22.95, and then we're going to increase the prices by $1, the 2XL, and we're going to increase it by $2 for the 3XL. Just because, as you can see, our cost goes up, so we wanna increase it to offset that cost. Actually, it goes up a little bit more than that, so we want to update that to $26.95. Here we go. Show in stock variants. Back on the checklist, crossing off that we did the pricing, product visibility. We leave all of these the same, and then we hit publish. And if you haven't already done this, make sure that you have your Etsy store linked, which we're going to set up on the next step. So it feels like we're doing this in advance. I just want to show you the Printify side of things so you can get an idea of where the product is getting fulfilled from. And then the Etsy store is the storefront that's customer facing. So this is kind of the back end, but if it's not letting you publish it, don't worry, just go to the next step, complete the Etsy setup, and then you'll be able to link them and publish everything fine. Then once it's uploaded in our Trello board, to keep things nice and neat, you're just going to move it from design file ready to uploaded to Printify. Then you're going to rinse and repeat that process for all your designs until you have at least 50 plus designs in the uploaded to Printify column. And the way you're going to do this for the other products is, instead of going to catalog and create new product, you can just duplicate your product and then edit this one, because it'll keep all the same settings exactly as we just did it. You just delete the design and then upload your new design and rinse and repeat that same process. And then down here, I put a checklist so that you can cross off each product as you upload it and just keep things organized, and it'll update on the main tab so you can see how far along you are. Once you've uploaded your 50 products, your Printify checklist should be completely checked off. Now all the steps that we have left are our Etsy and Shopify store setups. Let's get into those right now. All right, so step 6 is we're going to set up our Etsy account. The way you're going to do this is by going to Etsy.com and entering your brand's email address that you created, and just going through the setup steps that come after that. So you can see that it created a new store for us, and you go to sell on Etsy. What brings you to Etsy? I'm just starting out. Is there anything you'd like help with? You can just say skip this question. Now time for the fun part. So this is our shop preferences. Save and continue. Name your shop. You just type in vacay threads. And if your name's not available, don't panic. You can just throw on the word brand at the end and you'll be good to go. Now for how you'll get paid, if you have a business entity, you want to enter that information here. But if not, don't worry about it for right now. You can just enter your personal information, although I do recommend going to Inkfile and registering for an LLC. It's about $200 or $300, but it's going to save you a lot in tax write-offs later on down the road. And once you've entered your information, it's going to prompt you to create a listing. And this is where you can create just a filler product just to get through the rest of the setup process. But then you're going to go back to Printify and click connect to integrate your Etsy account. So once you're through the setup and you've linked your Printify account with your Etsy store, just going to go down to Etsy sales channels and edit shop. You can see I've already integrated a couple of the products. The one that we just created automatically syncs to our Etsy store. I'm going to update my profile photo, and I can either choose from that one or the icon. I'm going to do the icon and save, and then you can update your shop title and change your location. Buyers like to see that you're in the United States, and I can also upload my own profile picture, because this is my seller identity, as a person. I want to put my brand there too. And then as a bonus, you can add a banner. You don't really need this for right now, but later on down the road, it's a good idea to add that. And then you can also add like a shop announcement. But for right now, we really just want our Etsy account to be syncing with our products and be ready to take sales, which we've done. Now, all of our 50 plus products should be syncing to our Etsy store. And I'm going to talk about in great detail in the second video how to start advertising on Etsy and start promoting your products. Do a short version of that now. The marketing on Etsy is dead simple. You just go to Etsy ads and you can literally set up a campaign with next to no work. You just set the budget you want, then it starts spending for you. And this is just like, Etsy ads is just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to marketing, but it's a great way to get started and just get your feet wet. All right, so now that we've completed our Etsy account setup for section 6, that brings us to our 7th and final section, which is our Shopify store. Now, this is my bread and butter and personally the part of the process that I enjoy by far the most, because it's making your brand's web presence, your appearance, and like it's crafting a asset for you that can really scale to a lot in sales. I know that it's a lot of steps, but trust me, if you need to pause it, go take a bathroom break or something, come back to this. This is going to be well worth every second of your time. All right, in this section, we're going to be setting up and optimizing your Shopify store. We're going to be doing this using the exact template that I used to build and grow Yoga Stay to 7 figures and ultimately exited from that company. So to get started, you're going to click this button here to start a free trial of Shopify. Then you're just going to enter your brand email account, click start free trial, select I'm just starting, looking to create an online store, products I buy or make for myself. Do you have an online audience or following? No. And the store name, just enter your brand name, and if it's already taken, this doesn't really matter. This is not the same as our domain, and hit next. And the brand is located in the US in my case. And for your Shopify ID, I just use my email. All right, so once you're logged in, your dashboard should look something like this. And now we're just gonna go through each of the steps together. And we're going to set up our payment. So settings, payments, and this is how we're going to be able to accept payments from our customers. So you're gonna click activate Shopify payments, then click submit details, business type. If you don't have an LLC, then you're just going to click an individual or sole proprietor. But I do have an LLC, so I'm going to select that. And then here's where you just enter your EIN, which you would get after completing your business registration. And you just enter all your personal details below. Then for industry, clothing and accessories, and just other clothing and accessories. And for description, vacation and travel inspired graphic apparel and home decor. And then a key is down here for the phone number. You don't want to enter your personal phone number because that's going to show up on every credit card statement. So any customer that ever gets billed by you, they're going to see your personal phone number. So what I recommend doing is setting up a Google Voice number and entering that number in there instead. So that will just send any voicemails, it'll transcribe it and then send you an email with a copy of it. Works just as well, but you don't have to worry about getting spammed with a ton of unnecessary phone calls. And once you do that, you click complete setup, and it's as simple as that. Your account is now ready to accept payments from customers. Okay, the next you're going to enter your business banking information, which is just connecting your bank account with your routing and account number. And then next thing we're going to do is go to checkout page, shipping address, phone number. You want to set that to be optional. And then customer information, require only last name. Company name, don't include. Leave most of these the same. Make the shipping address, phone number optional. You can accept tips if you want. I typically don't do it because it seems kind of like cheesy to ask for a tip from an online store. Leave all of these the same. Automatically fulfill and leave that blank. Automatically archive and then pre-select. So this is when somebody's checking out, it'll ask them if they want to opt in for email marketing. We pre-select that. They can uncheck it if they don't want to. and then send to ban and checkout emails automatically, and then send after 6 hours. Next, we're going to connect our domain. We're going to go to settings, domains, connect existing domain. And now this is a pro feature, so you need the $79 a month plan. So if you are not looking to spend that kind of money just yet, you can leave this blank and it'll just be this domain up here that customers would find you from. But I do have my domain, so I'm going to connect vacthreads.co. All right, and then once you've connected your domain, you can check that off. Now we're going to go to brand, which is under settings and brand. Then we can add our default logo. So we're going to upload. So now I uploaded my logos. Now it's asking me for my brand color. I'm just going to do a similar orange to what I have in the logo. Then the contrasting color, I'll just do black. Then you don't have to worry about the rest of these for now. So just hit save. Then the next thing we're going to do is generate our privacy and terms of service policies. So the way we do that is go back out, go to settings, policies, create from template. We're just going to hit create from template for all of these. There we go. So now just from creating it from a template, we have our refund, privacy, terms of service, and contact us pages. Hit save, policies, and collapse that. Next, we're going to connect our Printify account. And the way you're going to connect your Printify account is just by going to apps, apps and sales channels, then Shopify store, typing in Printify, clicking there, and then if you haven't already installed it, it'll say install, and we have all the steps laid out here for you. You're going to sign into your Printify account with the app, and now within Printify, it should either create a new store automatically for you up here in the corner, and then once you connect your Shopify store, you're going to have two stores here. So when you create your Shopify store within Printify, it's going to have no products, but all that you have to do is select all your products, click copy to, and then you can copy your products over instantly to your Shopify store. So you don't have to like go back and redo anything or remake any of your products. It copies over automatically. And then once the products have copied, you just click publish and choose sync and publish selected details for all products. Unselect descriptions and tags, click publish, and then move your products on your Trello board from the uploaded to Printify column to publish to Shopify, just like this. Next thing we're going to do is bulk update our product descriptions. And this is why I told you in the previous step with Printify to not worry about your product descriptions. It's because we're able to do all of this in bulk together right now. There's another app that you're going to want to download that they have a free trial too, but you go to apps and sales channels, Shopify App Store, install, it's called Hextom. They have a bunch of different apps, but you click the bulk product editor and you want to download that app. And then within Hextom bulk product editor, what you're going to do is on the left hand bar here is you're going to look for description. And on description, we want to tell it which products to apply this to. So we're going to do all products. Then just to double check to make sure it worked fine, you're going to preview matched products, and it's going to take a second, but then it'll show you all the products that you have matching that condition, just to make sure we're not bulk editing nothing. Next, you're going to go down here and choose replace entire description. Here we can write in a description that we want that's going to replace every product's description on the entire store. You can just type in here what you want, but what I like to do to make it look nicer is you'll notice that we're writing in code. So what we're going to do, and I linked it here, click on HTML editor, and here I gave a few examples for you of what a good product description looks like. And here you can create whatever kind of product description you want and then copy paste it over in HTML. And it's super simple. So let me just show you what I mean. We want to do a bullet point product description and say Bella Canvas 3001. So something like that tells people a little bit about the product, answers some of the main questions, and I put examples in here as well. You can also do like emojis and stuff here if you want. If you want to copy and paste this over, you just do edit and see it shows the HTML code version of this. Copy all of that, and then over here you just paste that. And then up here you switch, you can see that it copied over perfectly. And then you're going to start bulk edit now. You can see that it queued it up. If you're running larger tasks, sometimes it'll take a little bit to finish, but should be a pretty short one. So while that's happening, just going to go through and check each of these off. And next, we're going to bulk edit the compared at price on our products. Edit all products, change compared at price. I typically mark it at like round to the nearest 10, like 30% higher than our current pricing. So I'll say like $29.95 and bulk edit. There we go. Check those off and collapse it. All right. And now for this last section of the video, we're going to be setting up the Shopify theme and optimizing it. And there's a lot that we could talk about here, but for the sake of this video, what we're going to be doing is running through and setting up literally every last setting that there is within the Shopify theme, which is a lot to get through. So I'll record another video on like the theory and like strategies behind all this. But for now, I recommend just taking what you see here and just applying it directly to your store, just so you have a good baseline for your store when you go to launch. Now, the theme that we're going to be using for your Shopify store is called the Dawn theme. And this is the default theme that's already installed in your Shopify store. We're just going to be making a lot of tweaks and changes to it to optimize the colors and overall layout and just make it look like a better looking store overall. And we're going to be doing this using the best practices that I've found from my own Shopify stores, that from using your checklist, you'll be able to copy and paste them into your own store as well. And the way that I recommend doing this is pulling up your guide side by side with your Shopify store. The finished product is going to look like this. I'm going to pull up a blank theme and we're going to go through all those changes together. And the way you optimize your theme, or you're able to edit it, is by going to, on the left hand side here, online store, themes, and then your Dawn theme is the current default theme, and you just hit customize. So over here on the left hand side, looking at our spreadsheet, I put a reminder in there that we want to optimize based off of how it looks on mobile rather than desktop, because 80% of our traffic is going to be coming from mobile. Not many people realize that, but it's really important that we optimize first, thinking about mobile, and then desktop second. Up here in the top corner, you can just switch between mobile, desktop, and full screen. So switch to mobile, check that off. And first thing that we're going to do, actually, before we jump into that, is products collections. We're going to create a new product collection. Come up here to create collections, you name it all product, and you can put a little description here like great, and then down here is where you tell it which products you want to be included in the collection. I'm going to do it by product types equal to and t-shirt, because all we have right now is t-shirt. But later on down the road, as you add in canvases and mugs and phone cases and hoodies, sweatshirts, you can create different product collections for each of them. You just go down there and you hit save. To edit our theme, we're going to go to online store, themes, and just to give you the lay of the land for the theme editor in Shopify, up here are the sections. So these are the things you're actually seeing on the page as you're editing. And then here are your theme settings. So this is changing things across the entire store, from color to the type of font to the overall layout of each of the pages. So you can think of it as sections are the actual blocks on each page, and then the theme settings are changing things across the board to every page. For app embeds, you don't have to worry about this right now, but down the road, this will be where you can integrate like your email provider, your review services, all that kind of thing. First thing we're going to do is check that off, and we're going to our logo. And for our logo, we're just selecting the one that we created in Canva before, and then adjusting our desktop width to roughly 100. And this depends on what your logo looks like. If you have a bigger logo, then obviously just do what looks best. And then insert the favicon or favicon. That's this little thing up here. So that shows up in people's browsers. So you used to have to upload specifically 32 by 32. They updated this, which is kind of nice, so that now they'll downsize it for you. Then we are on to colors. So I'm going to collapse this. And you can also see the changes happening over here as we're doing it. Colors. So primary colors, solid button label. Some of these things aren't going to be changing. And some things you'll notice we aren't actually changing, but I just put everything in here so that you can see what's getting changed, what's not. And if you make a mistake, want to go back, you can always have this as a source of truth to double check. You click on that, and then you enter in, this is the hex code right here for the color. So E22120. And again, we could sit here and explain all day like why we're doing the colors that we are, but I'll save that for another video. Accent 2, text 000, which is just black. Outline 000. Background 1, FFF, that's white. Background 1, gradient, none. Background 2, there we go. We have our colors done. And we close colors, open up typography, choose font for the headings, and choose assistant. We're gonna do bold. We want our headlines to stand out a little bit more. This is like our product titles and that sort of thing. Bold, select, then leave assistant regular for the body text. Now layout. So this is changing like the actual section settings on the page. So page width, leaving that the same. Space between template sections 0. Horizontal spaces 8 and 4. Now buttons. It's pretty self-explanatory, but it's what our buttons, like our add to cart, checkout page, that sort of thing, are gonna look like. So thickness 1, border opacity 100%, corner radius 2, shadow. So this shadow is a nice little touch to add. So it makes sure, let me go to the product page so you can see what this does there. So if you watch the buttons there, you add a little bit of a shadow to it. It just makes the button like pop off the page a little bit more and makes you want to click it. See that? 15%, horizontal offset, vertical offset 4, blur 5. Check off the buttons and variant pills. 1 pixel, 55%, 40, shadow opacity 5%. So we're adding a little bit of a shadow, making it go off center a little bit. Okay, now inputs. Leaving all of these the same except for the corner radius 40. Product cards. So these are used on the collection page. We want to use style card, and this is the page we're going to drive most of our traffic to. So we want to make this look really good. Product cards, style card, text alignment left, background 2, border thickness 0, opacity 100%, corner radius 20, shadow opacity 5%, horizontal offset 0, vertical offset. A little trick how you can check these off faster is if you just copy paste 1 and go all the way down. Now collection cards, card, text alignment left, background 2, thickness 0, horizontal offset 0, vertical 4, blur 5. Check those off, lapse it. Blog cards, leaving all those the same. Content containers, leaving the same, leaving that the same. Drop downs and pop-ups. This is primarily going to show up with your add to cart animation. So when somebody adds a product to cart, this little thing is going to pop down. I'll show you that in a second. But border thickness 4, opacity 5%, corner radius 10, shadow 10, horizontal offset 4, vertical blur 10. Which a drawer is if like your menu pops out to the side. Yeah, like that. This is your drawer. Do border 4, opacity 10, horizontal offset 4, vertical 4, blur 10. So this is like your sale icons. Badges. So we're gonna switch that to top left and make the corner radius 20, accent 2, inverse. And again, if I'm moving too fast through this for you, feel free to pause the video, go back. This is here for you, so use it however it's useful. Icons, text color. So don't have to change that. Optional, your brand information. You can just put like your tagline here. This isn't that. Social media, if you've made your pages, then you can insert them there. We haven't done that yet, so you can just leave them blank. Search behavior, leave all that the same. Currency format, leave that. This is only relevant once you start trying to market to international. Then cart, leave that as pop-up notification. We don't want to show vendor. We don't want to allow a cart note. A cart note would be if you let people write a note or like a customization for their order. Oh, something we do want to do is when the cart is empty, if somebody ends up on that page, we want to show them something. Select our all products collection. Check that off, collapse, and then checkout. So now this is customizing our checkout page. This is very similar to the other pages, and we want to make sure that our buttons are the same color throughout the entire checkout process, so that whenever a customer sees that color, they're like, oh, I'm supposed to click that. It's called color isolation. So don't have a background image. You don't really need that. Logo, just upload your logo again. So there's the logo there that we just added. See, our logo I think would look a lot better if it was actually horizontal. I kind of skipped that step. I'm gonna do that really quick. Here, so I'm making my horizontal logo, taking the icon, putting it next to the text, shrink that a little bit, give the text a little more space. All right, now back over to my page. I'm going to upload my actual horizontal logo. There we go. See how much better that looks? So yeah, I'm actually going to go with large. So again, the checklist says small or medium, but this is your store. Do what you think looks best. Form fields, white. And just to show you an example, this is what changing the background color does. So if you want, you can change it to kind of a light gray rather than a white. Since our form fields are white, it makes the fields pop out a little bit. I'm just gonna leave it white, but that's just an example of things you can customize and play around with that can actually have pretty big impact. Background color, heading, system, leave those the same. Colors, accents, different shade of blue. Buttons, this is using the same exact color green as what we're already using. And errors, leave those in red. As you can see, the color of the button was that, which is opposite what our add to cart button was. So people would add the product to cart with a green button, then they get to checkout and they'd have to click a blue button. Seems like a minor detail, but it actually makes a pretty big difference. All right, so there's our theme settings. So we're just gonna save our work, make sure we don't lose it, hit save. All right, so now back on the home page, we're going to edit our sections, and we're gonna do our home page, collection page, and product pages. This part actually moves pretty quickly. We're going to change our free shipping bar to say free shipping for orders over X dollar amount. So you can just copy paste them in. And I typically do $75. And this is good because it incentivizes people to spend more with your store, increases your average order value. I changed that to accent 1, text alignment, center, and then you don't have to paste the link. And then for your header, and then we don't want our header to take up too much space. So we can decrease the padding from 20 to 8 and 8. We can leave the rest of these the same. For our image banner, that's this right here. Select an image, free images. You can just choose anything. I'm just going to type in travel. This really doesn't matter that much. Your homepage will not get that much traffic. We're going to be driving traffic to the collection and product pages, but we'll talk about that in the next video. Banner height. There we go. Change the description. Text to say the name, buttons, drop all, make it a solid button. And then if you don't already have it, you probably should, but we're gonna make sure that there's a featured products collection and then rename this to best sellers. And again, we don't really have that many products on this one just because it's a test store, but like an example store, you would obviously have a lot more than this to show. And you can say printed, you can't say made in the USA because technically the blanks of the shirts come from outside the country. Heading size medium, but I'm just gonna save progress. One thing we do want to do is add the second image, enable quick, and change that to square. The last things, collect, condense that. Now we're gonna go to the collection page. See, that looks pretty good. And this is the page you're gonna be driving most of your traffic to. The collection page, so under product grid, products per page 16, image ratio square, go second image on hover, no, enable filtering, yes. Style card, you can see the little card outlines. And then background 2, accent, yep, everything looks good. Collection banner, that, and then the product page. This is where we're going to add the majority of our customization. So products, default page, starting with the product information, desktop media width, medium, media fit to original, thumbnail, carousel, left, no zoom. That just slows down the page, and you don't really need it unless you have really complex designs. Show thumbnails on mobile, see, that looks better. Hide other variants, yes. Enable image looping, doesn't matter, we don't have videos. Then top padding, you can lower this down a little bit. You want the page to be like as condensed as possible so people don't have to scroll as much. And theme settings, accent 2, yep, okay. And then delete this text that just says Printify there, we don't want that. And then price, there's nothing to customize. Variant picker, that's these here. See how it takes up a lot of space? Ideally we'd be able to like shrink these down, but they don't let you, so we're just gonna do a drop down. And quantity selector, you can keep that or get rid of it. I personally like getting rid of it because it saves a lot of space on the page. And buy buttons, so the buy button is when you link like PayPal and Apple Pay and stuff, which is a good idea to have 2 or 3 of them. It'll dynamically show their logo there. The trade-off though is that you normally have a lower average order value because if somebody clicks that, they don't get the chance to add another product to their cart. It just takes them right to checkout. So we'll turn it off here, and then share section. It's just doesn't look that good and it's just taking up space, so we're going to delete that. Once you have social media pages, you can add your social icons and that would look better. And then we're going to add a collapsible row here, and this allows us to highlight some of our product features. I'm just adding in examples here. You can add whatever you want, but like whatever you think your main selling points are, and this varies based on your audience. But as you can see, it makes like a drop down there, and then you can add product description in there, for example, like that, and then it turns it into a drop down. People can open it up and see, but obviously that wouldn't make a lot of sense because you already have it up there. But if there's anything else you want to add about it, you'll see how these can look pretty good. The main reasons that people don't check out or they don't buy is 1, they don't trust you. 2, there's not enough social proof. 3, they don't have enough like urgency or like reason to buy right now. You can also just do icons with text if you don't want to add drop downs. Drop downs adds a little extra flair to it. And then collapsible row, and then truck. I'm not adding anything right now, but like putting your shipping policy there would be a good idea. You can also like link your pages. So if you have a shipping policy page, you can link that there. Returns are free and easy. Collapsible row, copy paste, heart back. And then this one down here, I'm gonna do, I wouldn't do more than 4 of these, but for the 4th one, a lot of people nowadays care about carbon emission offsetting, or at least they like to say they care, which is the same thing. Or you can put like 30-day money back guarantee and then a little description about that. But like, see how nice that looks compared to what it was before, which is just empty and plain, to now it looks like actually really nice. And this looks like a page that somebody would buy from. But we're not done yet. Related products. Instead of saying you may also like, say customers also bought, because it gives a perception of like, oh, people are shopping here. I want to be like other people. Image ratio square. We don't have reviews yet, so leave that blank. Then optional thing that you can add is recently viewed, or like your bestseller collection, or like featured product. But the rest of this page you want to use up so that people, like as they scroll down, there's content there for them to see. Related products done. Cross that off. Oh, we're almost there. All right, so now I'm going to go back to our homepage. Now we're going to edit our main menu, change the catalog to say shop or shop now. There you go. Contact. You can also add about us. Well, we haven't made that page yet, so I'll just put the contact page for now. There we go. Save menu, and then our footer menu. This is what's going to show up at the bottom of the page. We just want to add all of our policies, which these all were pre-made for us. First, we'll add contact us. It's the main thing people look for on the bottom. Contact, about us. We don't have one of those yet, so I'm just going to put contact us, and then I'll come back and change it. And then policies, terms of service, privacy policy. Legally in the United States, you do have to have each of these, so it's important we make sure we add them. Refund policy. Hit save. Oh, I skipped this section. That's why we didn't have the page. So pages, create, add page, about us. A really quick way that you can write this is if you go to ChatGPT, try ChatGPT. If it's not too busy, about us page, description for a vacation themed apparel company. So ChatGPT is a free tool. It's really useful. Take that, what it wrote, and then swap out that part. Save, quickly plug that back into the navigation pages, about us. All right, and now for our finishing touches, we're gonna go to preferences, online store, vacay threads, vacation, and travel inspired graphic apparel. Leave that blank. Google Analytics and Facebook Pixel we'll do in the next video. Change this to partially collected. Activate. You have to install the app. We're not gonna do that right now. Remove, save, and then I recommend before you take it off, you do a test order. But one last thing is for our free shipping bar, if you remember, we have at the top free shipping over $75. You're just going to go to discounts, go to discount, create a discount, free shipping, call it 75, free shipping, all countries. I only do the United States because on Printify, at least, it's a lot more expensive shipping to outside the US, so I don't want to get burned. And then minimum purchase amount 75. All customers can be combined with order discounts. Yes. Save. 75 free shipping. So now a customer has to use that at checkout, but if they know about it, they'll get free shipping. Now this is live, so you can go to vacaythreads.co and check out our store that we just created here together. Obviously it's extremely simple as a theme overall, but that was our goal. You don't need a big beautiful site. I've tested that and realized that it was mostly just my ego wanting it to be like a really really pretty site that I could show people. This is what converts extremely well. Just bare bones, give people the facts, what they need to know in order to make an informed buying decision, and that's gonna take you extremely far. Where people get lost a lot of times is they start tweaking and modifying like every little last thing, and like that's just not that valuable. What you should be focusing on is coming up with great designs that people love and really listening to your audience. The rest can take care of itself from there. I hope you guys like this tutorial, and if this video gets 10,000 likes, then I'm going to create an equally in-depth marketing tutorial where we're going to cover everything from Facebook ads, Google, TikTok, Instagram, social accounts, how to set up your pixels, literally everything from top to bottom, as detailed as what we just did here. And then I'm going to do a third video on scaling. So next one, marketing, is going to be about going from $0 to $100,000 in sales, and then scaling is going to be on going from 100,000 to $1 million. So if you like this kind of content, please be sure to like and subscribe, and appreciate you guys for following along. If you have any questions at all, I know this was a ton of information, please feel free to leave a comment in the comment section below, and I'll see you in the next video.